Nestled between the Alps and the Mediterranean, Slovenia is a nation of immense beauty and culture. With a 99.7% literacy rate and a young, developed economy, it has great potential. Their most important untapped resource, though, may be their women. The Slovenian woman is slightly more educated than her male counterpart, but earns only 93% of his average salary, and she occupies only 12.2% of all seats in the National Assembly. I was in Slovenia giving a talk for the Young Executive Society, and I noticed that there were very few women in the audience. The next day, I was at the Faculty of Economics to give a talk for the Sustainability, Leadership, and Inspiration Academy. While I was there, I had the opportunity to sit down with Maja Kožuh, who is the MBA Programme Manager. I was curious about the position of women in their society.
Even though the men are taking over the places, I don't know, at the parliament, at the best companies here in Slovenia, actually there are a lot of great women who are standing behind them and doing a great job. We became independent in '91. So there are still a lot of the same people doing the same work, or they are in the same positions as they were at '91. But I would really love that this would change and the young people would come, and definitely more women in those positions. I believe that men and women can be great leaders, both of them, and they have power to lead people and encourage people. Sometimes we don't do ourselves justice because we think that we are not good enough because of the history and so on, and all of the time the man was the one who led us, and sometimes we just need to step up front of them because we can't do it. Sometimes we think we cannot.
I asked how she thought this could change.
I heard a great example in the Scandinavian countries. They set a law in their parliament, for example, that they need to have this kind of number of women in it and this kind of number of men in it. So if we do it artificially at the beginning, but in a way that it can change in the future, okay, that's the way we can do it like this. It's artificial, but it does put women up front. And they can do something about it. They have the law that supports them, so this is one way, and the results count. So if the women can show a result, she could be really proud of it, she could be self-confident about that because she did a great job, and probably the same as men would do it.
I was curious as to how women were taking to the MBA program.
Only 1/3 of the whole group represents women. This MBA program is actually meant for those people, for those individuals who already have some relevant working experience. Working like for 3, 4, 5 years already. So they wanted to upgrade their knowledge, so they started MBA. If we look at the men at age, I don't know, 31, 32, it's like an average age for an MBA student at the moment, they're now starting a family, starting to have more important places in their companies. So for the men it's usually easier because they are not sitting here with the baby and try to manage the baby and the career and everything else. So I think that the lack of women in the program and also the time constraints that they have, because mostly they put more time with the children than the men do. And they are maybe afraid how will they organize all the time that they have, because they have to manage their job, their time, their free time, and the time with the family, and as well an MBA. So for those women that I have on my MBA program, I really respect them because they were really determined to have these 2 years of the program to themselves and to do something for themselves. They do tell me about it sometimes, that the children are missing them, they have so little time to spend with their husbands and so many projects as well at work, and it's really hard. But then when something is over, they finish a project, they finish an exam, they feel so proud about themselves and they're really happy about it. I always tell them that time is always a problem. You only concern about enrolling is that you won't have time. You won't have time any time in your life the timing is not right. Okay, we can't count out the special circumstances, but timing is always right if you want it to be.
So how could an MBA help a woman in Slovenia?
Even though they might not get promoted the next day they go out of the MBA, or they thought that the career will change 180 degrees when they go out of the MBA, but definitely they will start to think differently about themselves. They will start to think differently at the work they do. How do they lead their teams? They will develop, a better view of themselves. They will just remember of the 2 years that they have spent here and how do they manage to do everything. And they will definitely see that everything is possible. You have the will and you have the time and you have the right energy to organize yourself in your time, and everything is possible.
Despite the constraints, it sounds like the opportunity is there for women in Slovenia to shine. What are you doing to advance your skills? What are your stretch goals for the next 5 years? As Maja said, if you have the will, everything is possible. The power is in your hands.